if this would tell me. There we go. Okay. Let's jump right into this, guys. No allergies tonight, thank goodness. So this should be a lot more smooth than it was yesterday. Make sure everything looks good on there. Yeah, I think so. I think we're good. Okay. And once we actually start getting some comments in here, once people actually start watching, I'll probably try to figure out how to actually pin the comments up. That would be smart. But anywho, let's get into what happened in the market today. Just a brief summary. To me, it seemed like kind of a disappointing day. There were a few stocks that, so to start things off, we did see a gap up. And I thought this might be a good day for some strength. And some of those stocks that gapped up did show some strength. We're going to be touching on those. But a lot of stocks just seem to be lacking follow through, and that's been the case for a while as we just kind of move sideways. And if you run into things too quickly and don't get out quickly enough, you're going to get flattened. Now, I definitely didn't get flattened today. I had one minor mistake that I was able to correct quickly. Still, it's not the kind of day where you want to make any errors, so I was a little bit disappointed at myself for that. That being said, let's just get into this and we can start putting together the watch list. I should also add my usual disclaimers. Number one, I'm not a professional, haven't been doing this for very long. And number two, this isn't advice, investment advice, trading advice. It's just me showing you what I do and kind of documenting my learning journey here. So let's go ahead and start with, and yes, we are putting together a watch list of 25 stocks from the top 100 most liquid stocks in the market. That's what I have time to track with a full-time job. So let's start with NVIDIA, the king of the market. So NVIDIA, we have a 90 relative strength, and yeah, we gapped down to the 50 yesterday. We're holding in there tight, so there's no really certainty which way this is going to go. You probably would have wanted to see a little more bounce. That being said, this has been a fairly orderly pullback, so it's not falling apart yet. If I was a position trader, I wouldn't be panic selling right now. I think it's kind of a wait and see what happens. So since this is a 90 relative strength, super liquid stock, I'm putting it on the watch list. Tesla, I've said over and over that yes, this looks like a very nice pattern that's forming here. It's getting tighter and tighter. That being said, this is still way off the lows that this is forming, so there's still going to be probably some overhead supply. That being said, when you have this kind of thing where you're constantly absorbing all this selling, that will probably take care of some of this overhead supply over here. So I think this is a pretty bullish looking chart overall. That being said, I can certainly still see it failing, and it has been going sideways for probably a little bit longer than you'd like, I guess. So yeah, not a top stock idea of mine, but I definitely do want to just keep an eye on it to see if it can break over this level at some point. Apple, this was a stock that gapped up and actually held the gap. Now it didn't push much higher, but you can't really expect a trillion-dollar company, trillions of dollar company to make huge moves. That's going to be proven wrong in like the next two stocks that we look at. But anyway, a really nice move from Apple today. This one does look like it's kicking into gear, but I just don't think it's for me. I think it's still a little bit too slow. Palantir holding on for dear life at this 50. Today it looked like it might have been a day where it wanted to pull up and start moving back up. We have kind of a fair value gap area here where prices move very quickly, meaning there's probably not a lot of liquidity here. If it did start to move back up through there, I can see a fast move happening. That being said, this just doesn't look very good to me. Seeing it get turned back like that today was definitely not a good sign. So I'm going to put this on my watch list because it is a 98 strength relative stock, super liquid, definitely still a leader, but it has been showing weakness for a while now, and I won't be surprised if this does break below the 50. Microsoft, too slow. AMD, just kind of in line with NVIDIA, maybe a little more volatile. Coming down to the 50 in a fairly orderly fashion. So yeah, I'm just going to be watching these semis down by the 50. I'm sure that Broadcom earnings on Thursday night are going to have a bit of an impact on this group. I would expect that. Amazon just kind of lingering. Meta, same story. It's not my favorite. I don't love their AI products, and I don't think the metaverse is really catching on. I'm not a fundamental trader, but I'll give my takes where I'm able to. Google. This one, I said I like what they've been doing in AI. They've been doing some pretty impressive stuff, and we did see it break out into new highs last Friday. Excuse me, that would be last Thursday. And I said, we could buy here, but it's going to move a little too slow. But then they got lawsuit clarity, and that pushed the stock way up. Huge volume. This is just, I wouldn't expect to move like this on news like that. I didn't think that news would be that major, but it's not about the news, it's about the reaction. This looks to me like Google stepping up and saying, I want to be one of the big leaders in this next bull run. So certainly some very good action here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It does close at highs, so that would signal maybe continuation. It's just very hard for me to imagine that a $2.79 trillion company is going to go up 50% or something like that, make a big run like that. So I probably would expect a little more sideways here, but I wouldn't have expected this gap to begin with. Just because I expect something doesn't mean it's going to happen. Definitely super impressive from Google. This is becoming a leader fast, so I'm going to put it on my watch list there. Not worth our time. Yeah, I'm not going to put two Googles on the watch list there. And then Broadcom, yep, this is just coming down to the 50 like the other semis. This one actually was able to bounce, but with earnings tomorrow night, we need to probably stay away from this one during the day. I'm going to put on the watch list just because I want to keep visibility. That one's a waste of time. Okay, Robinhood. Let's see what's going on with this one. It's just hanging in there tight underneath the 50. This has been a pretty orderly pullback, all things considered. I'm just going to be watching this one very carefully to see if it can lift up, because this is one that I definitely want to get into if it starts to move in the right direction again. Let's actually pull this out real quick. So yeah, this has been at all-time highs for a while, or it's broken through that high. It broke through there a long time ago. Yeah, I think I don't remember who said this, but somebody said they like to use the second or third day as the high of the IPO base, which makes sense because this action is kind of aberrational. So you can see, yeah, that this one broke out really nicely there. And this was actually, yeah, this was actually right here, so that makes a lot of sense. I never really zoomed out like that to see the big picture of this one, but it makes a lot of sense. I think I bought it here on the shakeout day, and I sold it a little bit too early. I had a couple of runs in this one. It's been good to me this year, but I definitely want to become a little more like a position trader. It would have just been a lot easier to hold this one. Number one, because you're going to make more gains. But number two, because it's going to keep you out of trouble trying to get in and out of other stocks. So yeah, this one, definitely a leader, definitely one I'm going to keep watching now that it's down by the 50, and hopefully we can see some continuation. MicroStrategy, still weak on the Bitcoin theme, it seems like. Netflix just lingering underneath the 50. This one seems like it probably will retake the 50, but no guarantees, and it's a little slow, so I'm going to move on. So yeah, it does seem like my allergies are still a little bit here. Sorry about that. I'm not sneezing anymore, it's just kind of a nuisance, but I won't bore you guys with the details of that. Coinbase, very weak. Intel. This one does look like it's shaping up to break out and fill this gap, but that's a heck of a gap. What was that? This one went from 31 down to 21. And how big is the company? $100 billion, so not anything special, I guess. But yeah, we all know that Trump's been pumping this one up, as he likes to do. I just don't think that this one's for me. AppLovin, this was my first mistake of the day. I saw this one just kind of clearing highs here, and I kind of made an impulse buy on it right at the beginning of the day. That's the kind of thing that I really need to avoid. Just wait a few more minutes, wait for things to confirm, and I would have seen that no, this is not going to work out. I think I only hold it for about 10 to 20 seconds, but things just move so fast at the beginning of the day that did give me a little paper cut that was certainly avoidable and probably shouldn't have been sustained, but you just gotta learn from your mistakes. Still gonna add it to the watch list though, because it looks pretty good still. This one's too wild for me. I don't want to deal with any foreign stocks. Berkshire, too slow. Oracle, still showing weakness under the 50. JP Morgan, too slow for me. Palo Alto, this looks like a short, honestly. Trying to rally up, coming back into this big bearish candle here, coming into the 50. This looks like a short to me. That doesn't mean it's going to work out, but if I was a shorting man, I'd probably think about it. Micron, some of this volatility is starting to come out of it, but it's not ready yet. Too slow on Visa, too slow there. This is just turning into a real mess. It's not even hardly worth looking at anymore. It's pretty crazy that the relative strength is still at 98, but clearly this is, been backed into a corner and then some. Alibaba. I might have to break my rule of not buying foreign stocks here, because this one is just continuing to show massive outperformance, well, massive relative strength, I should say. Yeah, just had some phenomenal earnings reaction on Friday, continued the strength into Tuesday, and now it's holding in there tight. I'll show you guys the hourly. Yeah, you can see this one just riding this 10-hour line. I don't really love to play things off the 10-hour line. I would prefer to play it off the 50-hour line. But if this one breaks out of this area, then it might be worth just putting some on, honestly. SoFi, this just looks like distribution to me, honestly, but these things can continue to run longer than you would think. I thought this was the end of the run right here, but it's just rallied back up and popped back up. Now it seems like it's doing it again. We'll see if it can pop again. I'm probably not going to get into this one, but I do like to follow the leader, so I will keep an eye. Okay, hopefully that muting of the microphone worked there. This one a little slow. Okay, this was my biggest mistake of the day, and I'm not even mad at myself for it. Actually, it wasn't really the biggest mistake of the day because I got off pretty scot-free, but I'll show you guys what happened. This one, you can see it's been chopping around in this zone, kind of right in the 20. And then it popped up here, so I wanted to take a shot on it. And I'll show you on the 5-minute. This is where I bought it at, so tried to play the opening range breakout. Looks like I was a little bit late on that. And so basically, as I saw it on the 1-minute chart, yeah, I guess I wasn't that late on it. But yeah, so I saw like some massive selling come into it right here. This was mostly selling volume. I'll show you guys what I used to look at that. Yeah, I think this is the correct indicator. So this is what I use to look at the up volume versus down volume in each bar, and you can see this one had really bad down volume. I think I bought it right before this, so I was ready to get out of it when it happened. But then I saw that despite the fact that the bears were pushing, the price really didn't go down, so I just stuck it out. And when the bulls started pushing again, we started to move up, so I thought, oh, we're good. Then, as you can see, it was pretty much unopposed bearish behavior all the way back down. It just seems like the bulls just had no appetite to step in today. The bears wanted it more, and I saw the writing on the wall, so when it came back down here, I got out of break even, and thank goodness that I did, because this thing went on to be a real flopperoonie today. So I'm still going to keep it on my watch list because it wasn't, it didn't completely fall apart and go the opposite direction like one that I'm thinking of right now, but definitely not a good sign for Reddit there. I'll take this off now. But yeah, this is definitely a strike against Reddit, but I'll keep it on the watch list. And I'm going to go ahead and check my chat here. I don't think there's going to be anyone in there, but alright, that's alright. We expect low viewership to start things off. It'll get up there if we just keep at it. Hopefully I don't shut down the stream by accident. Okay, moving on. I feel like I'm a little bit clunky tonight. I think my brain's just a little slow right now for some reason. But anywho, let's keep moving. GV continues to look very bad after yesterday. You know, more selling and heavy volume. Just no bounce whatsoever. This one, I'll keep it on my watch list because it's a very strong stock, or it has been a strong stock, but this is definitely not good action for GV. Uber continues to ride its way up. I don't think it's for me, but I'll keep it on the watch list. Spotify, kind of lingering around the 50. It's kind of in that subscriptions, Netflix type group. It did get pushed back down today, which is kind of a common theme in the market. But since it is 91 relative strength, I think it's fine to put on the watch list. Boeing getting turned away at all-time highs. Nothing completely wrong here, but nothing spectacular either. This one's a little slow. Terrible action. I don't mess around with this stock. Snowflake still holding in there. This one actually still looks pretty good. Hopefully we can see a break over this level, and that might be a buy if it does. Home Depot actually looks pretty good. It's just a 57 strength, relative strength stock, and it moves pretty slow. That being said, this is quite a large base that it wants to break out of here. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy Home Depot right now, sorry. Okay, IBM, this is a travesty. I think it actually got up to like 90 relative strength around here, but just got crushed on earnings. Citigroup, another shakeout. I've been pointing out how many like shakeout demand tails we've had in this little run here up at highs. You know, every time sellers step in, the buyers buy it back up. I think this one probably should go higher. I probably won't get in on this one, but I'll put it on the watch list. Intuit, moving down. This one's a travesty. This one, yeah, this is kind of what I expect to see with Palo Alto, honestly, just a rejection, but maybe not. This one's not even worth putting on the watch list anymore. I do like putting young and exciting stocks on my watch list, but this one definitely needs some time to repair before we take another look at it. Okay, this was a stock that actually did have some follow through. This one was steadily moving up all day, and I didn't buy it just based off the fact that I didn't like what I saw here. This terrible earnings reaction where we sold right off, and then we came down, we gapped down again. But this one looks like it might want to get up and start moving again. I don't think I'm going to be on for the ride, but I will put it on my watch list because it's showing very good action right now, I have to say. This one, just a volatility festival. You probably want to wait to see some tightness before you get on this one. Arista Networks, this continues to be my favorite setup in the market. As I'll show you with the stock that we see later, a good setup isn't good enough to buy it. You still have to see it break out. The best setups are the best place to sell as well, so you need to wait to see the strength come in. But this is at the top of my watch list for sure. Seems to be a very clear level. If we break this level, I think you definitely should take a shot. Well, I'm not giving advice. I'm just going to say that I will probably take a shot if it breaks that level without gapping up like things usually tend to do. GE Aerospace, very similar action to Boeing, just working its way along the 50 there. MongoDB, the first red day in a while, nothing wrong there. It does make sense that this would happen here, just kind of. This seems to be where the spiral started, so this is probably where a lot of selling pressure is. So it's just trying to work through that with some of this new strength it has. We'll see if it fails or if it can break out and start to work its way back up. Sorry guys, I feel like I'm running out of gas tonight. Okay, let's keep this going. We got Shopify. This one, I'm pretty bullish on this one. It was a messy base, but this one has been kind of a crazy mover even when it was in its heyday. So yeah, it's starting to get back down to that level. It's starting to look like it's found its the spot where the market agrees on it. So really, if you could break through these right here, I think it's probably a decent spot to buy it. I'll be watching this one quite closely. Carvana, obviously a very strong stock. Yeah, I was looking at like some of the numbers. Like if you had bought down here, it would have literally been like buying Bitcoin super early in the run. Like that's how much this thing has run up. It's actually insane. Yeah, I think it was like a penny stock at that point. Not quite. It was like $4 at the minimum. If you had $4 in there, you'd be up to $90 for each dollar you paid, I guess. You would have a 90 times return, so that's pretty insane. Anywho, I'm not too bullish on this one just because we had some selling as it tried to pop up over that final resistance level to get out of this base, but that's to be expected at the top of a base. Maybe we can come back up and have that final breakout for that big run into all-time highs, but I think there's better setups in the market, but I'll keep it on the watch list. So yeah, A-Lab definitely doesn't look like yesterday was too much to get alarmed about. It's just kind of sitting in this range. It continues to look quite constructive. So this one, I've got my eye on it. I think if this one does break out, it's going to rip up super fast. So don't want to miss this one if it does break out. CyberArk, this is just moving based on PanW's price since it is getting acquired by PanW. So this is not one to put on your watch list, in my opinion. I gotta stop saying that. It's not one I'm gonna put on my watch list. You can do whatever you want. I think we're getting down to the end here. Nope, this is the one that I wanted to talk about. So I said on yesterday's video that this looked like it was setting up nicely but you can't anticipate the breakout. I said that pretty plainly because, the breakdown area is like the best place to sell. When it breaks all-time highs, that's a breakout, but all-time highs is like the best place for people to sell. That's where you've got a ton of selling orders, and this one just couldn't get up through this level right here. You can see the 2 wicks here. It got rejected back and it went crashing back down. So this one, pretty much a complete disaster. I would be very surprised if it doesn't have further weakness. We might see a little bit of a bounce, then more weakness. If this one did kind of start riding up, then it might actually be a good place to try and short it. Now, we didn't break down through these lows, so it's not like all hope is lost. It's just this is about as bad as it gets. Just selling from the beginning of the day till the end of the day on heavy volume. This is very bad action for Rocket Lab. I'm still going to put it on my watch list just because I'm curious. I'm morbidly curious about what happens to this one, but yep, that just goes to show that you do have to wait for things to set up completely and properly, and then, actually break out before you buy them. DoorDash, this is one that I have been in a few times, but I haven't had a whole lot of luck with it because it always likes to, act like it wants to break out, and then it will come back down, bounce off an EMA, and do the same thing over and over. So I guess this one, maybe you just wait to take it off an EMA, but, out of like this one, Netflix and Spotify do seem to kind of have a similar flow to them. And I would say this one looks the best out of those 3, so maybe you can, if you want to get in that space, then maybe this is the right one to try. It is coming off of its 50, it looks like. We'll see if it can have some continuation. So I'll put it on the watch list. And then this one, there's better stuff in the semi area. And that wraps it up. Jeez, oh Pete's. Okay. So, look at that. 25 on the dot. Tell me I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. We just got lucky with that. But yep, so we got 25 on the dot, so we don't have to strike anything off the watch list. Here it is. One of these days I will go through the hourly charts. It's just tonight I'm about ready for bed. So, I thank everybody for watching this video. Hopefully we can get some viewers in here. Hopefully we can get some commenters in here at some point. And we do have 2 views, which I am happy about. So I guess that's going to be it for me. I'm going to let this video run for a couple more seconds so it doesn't cut off early. So I'll see you next time, and thank you.